Behind the cowboy hat, Roy Rogers' daughter confirms what we suspected. Roy Rogers. The name alone brings to mind a white cowboy hat, a golden palomino named Trigger, and a voice that sang about wide open spaces and doing what's right. To millions of Americans, he wasn't just an actor. He was the king of the Cowboys, a symbol of strength, kindness, and the perfect Hollywood Western hero. But what if everything you thought you knew about him was only half the story? Behind the fame, the merchandising, the Saturday morning serials, there was a private family story that stayed hidden for decades. A story of loss, grief, and a choice that would change how America saw families forever. Now, 28 years after his death, his daughter has spoken. And what she confirmed has reshaped everything we thought we knew about Roy Rogers. The man behind the cowboy. Stay with me, because this isn't just a story about a movie star. This is a story about love, pain, and what happens when you choose family over fame. Before the fame, before the movies, before the iconic image, Roy Rogers was just a boy named Leonard Franklin Sly. Born November 5, 1911, in Cincinnati, Ohio. His childhood was not glamorous, not even close. Leonard grew up in a working-class family during a time when America was struggling. His father worked in a shoe factory. Money was tight. Dreams felt far away. There were no actors in the family, no musicians, no connections to Hollywood. What Leonard learned early came from responsibility, not ambition, from helping out, working hard, and surviving. The Great Depression hit, and like millions of others, Leonard headed west. He was chasing work, not fame. He ended up in the San Joaquin Valley of California as a migrant fruit picker. Imagine it. Long days in the fields under the hot sun. Hands rough, back sore, picking crops just to earn enough to eat. That was Leonard's life. But the evenings told a different story. When the work was done, the workers would gather, and Leonard would pull out his guitar. He wasn't performing. He was comforting, playing songs for men who were tired, scared, and homesick. That's when he understood something that would define his entire life. Music wasn't just entertainment. It was healing. It was hope. From those campfires, small groups formed. First the Pioneer Trio, then the Sons of the Pioneers. Their harmonies were simple, honest, and America loved it. Their song, Tumbling Tumbleweeds, became an anthem. Hollywood was watching. Studios in the 1930s needed new faces for westerns. Cheap to make, huge with audiences. And Leonard Sly had something they couldn't teach. Authenticity. So they changed his name. Roy Rogers. A name that sounded like the West. A name that reminded people of Will Rogers, the beloved humorist who had died just a few years earlier. It was marketing, but it worked. From that day forward, Leonard Sly disappeared, and Roy Rogers was born. In 1937, Roy signed with Republic Pictures, and Republic knew exactly what to do with him. They built a brand. He wasn't just a cowboy. He was the cowboy. Clean cut, moral, always doing the right thing, never drinking, never cursing. A hero kids could look up to and parents could trust. The films came fast, dozens of them, and people ate them up, especially during World War II. Americans needed heroes, and Roy delivered. But Republic didn't stop at movies. They put him on the radio. They put his face on lunchboxes, toys, comic books, clothes. Roy Rogers became the first true multimedia star, before that term even existed. And he had his partners. Trigger, the smartest horse in movies. Bullet, the dog. And Nellie Bell, the Jeep. Kids didn't just want to be Roy. They wanted his whole world. For over a decade, Roy Rogers was the top box office Western star. That almost never happened. Western stars came and went, but Roy stayed. But here's what the cameras didn't show. While Roy was smiling on screen, his real life was getting complicated. Because fame has a price, and Roy was about to pay it. Before Dale Evans was the Queen of the West, she was Frances Octavia Smith from Uvalde, Texas. Born in 1912. Her early life was tough. She married young, had a son named Tom, and then Hollywood called. But 1940s Hollywood had rules, especially for women. If you were a leading lady, you were supposed to look single, available, and perfect. Having a child, that was a problem. So Dale made a heartbreaking choice. She kept her son Tom out of the public eye. She built a new name, a new image. Dale Evans. Strong, beautiful, talented. She worked her way up through B-movies, singing, acting, learning how to survive in a system that chewed people up. Then came 1944, the film The Cowboy and the Senorita. That's where she met Roy Rogers. From the first take, something clicked. Roy was steady and calm. Dale was bright and funny. He grounded her. She brought him to life. Directors noticed. Audiences noticed. What started as chemistry on screen slowly became something real off-screen. Two people who understood what it meant to live a double life. Public persona versus private reality. Before Dale, Roy was married to a woman named Arlene Wilkins. In 1936, they had a son, Roy Jr., who everyone called Dusty. It was a normal marriage, quiet, private, while Roy's career took off. Then 1946 happened. Arlene gave birth to their daughter, and shortly after, she died. Just like that. Roy was 35 years old, a massive star, and now a single father to a newborn and a 10-year-old boy. People who knew him said he shut down for a while. Hollywood didn't care. They expected him to show up, smile, and shoot the next film. But inside, he was breaking. During this dark time, Dale Evans was there. Not as a lover yet, as a friend, as someone who understood pressure, someone who understood loss. And within a year, on New Year's Eve 1947, Roy and Dale got married. It was fast. People talked. But for Roy and Dale, it felt right. They had both been through too much to wait. In 1950, Roy and Dale had their first child together. A baby girl, Robin Elizabeth Rogers. For any parents, this is the happiest moment. For Roy and Dale, it should have been perfect. But very soon, doctors told them something that would break their hearts. Robin had Down syndrome. Now remember, this is 1950. Medical science barely understood it. Most doctors told parents the same thing. Put her in an institution. It will be easier for you. Better for her. In the studio, they were terrified. Roy Rogers' entire brand was the perfect American family. Some executives actually suggested they hide Robin. Don't put her in photos. Don't talk about her. This was the moment. The moment that would define who Roy Rogers really was. Roy and Dale looked at each other and made their choice. No. They brought Robin home. They loved her. They took pictures with her. They let the world see her. In an era when most celebrities hid children with disabilities, the King and Queen of the West put their daughter front and center. It wasn't easy. There was pressure. There was fear. But they did it anyway. Robin's time with them was short. Too short. In 1952, at just 1 year and 8 months old, Robin got sick. Complications from her condition, and she passed away. The grief was overwhelming. Dale said later that the house went silent. But from that silence came something incredible. Dale started writing. Not scripts, not songs. A letter. From Robin. She wrote, "Angel unaware," as if Robin was speaking from heaven, explaining her short life, her love, her purpose. She published it in 1953, and America responded. The book became a bestseller. Thousands of letters poured in. Parents who had been told to hide their children wrote to say thank you. Thank you for showing us we're not alone. Thank you for showing us our children matter. This is what Cheryl Rogers-Barnett, Roy's adopted daughter, confirmed years later. That the thing people suspected about Roy Rogers was true. Behind the guns, the horse, the image, he was a father who chose love. He and Dale could have hidden Robin. They could have protected the brand. But they didn't. They chose to be real. And because of that, the Dale Rogers Training Center was founded. It still helps children with disabilities today. That's the legacy. Not the movies. Not the records. But the lives they touched. Roy and Dale went on to adopt 4 more children. They built a ranch. They built a life. Roy died in 1998 at age 86. Dale passed in 2007. For years, the public story stayed the same. Hero, cowboy, singer. But now we know more. Cheryl Rogers-Barnett has spoken openly in recent years. She confirmed what many fans felt but couldn't prove. That Roy Rogers struggled. That he grieved. that he and Dale fought to do the right thing when it would have been easier to do the safe thing. She confirmed that the king of the Cowboys wasn't perfect.